Hi there, my name is Dedo Kofi and welcome to my business lounge. This is the space where I get to share business tips and strategies that have helped me on my entrepreneurial journey with you so that you can also be inspired and motivated to build your own business dream. I'm sharing with you today what is known as imposter syndrome. If you have ever felt that you were undeserving of, say, praise, undeserving of success, undeserving of recognition that you're given at work because you did something, or even for a job that you did very well, that is imposter syndrome showing right there in your life. And this shows up in almost everybody's life at one point in time or at one stage of their lives. It doesn't happen to you because you are not rich or because you are poor. It happens to everyone, whether you are rich, whether you are accomplished, unaccomplished. It happens to everyone. And it's important that we recognize what this is so that we can deal with it properly. The bad news about imposter syndrome is that it doesn't magically disappear. It is not going to stop appearing in your life because you are 30 or 40 or 60 or 70. It doesn't happen. It can only disappear if you work on it. The good news, which is what we like, is the fact that we can actually work on imposter syndrome to make sure that once it shows up in our lives, we know how to deal with it. If you find that imposter syndrome appears in your life ever so often, I would advise that you can actually go on the internet and Google, read more about it, and if it is very prevalent in your life, perhaps you should find a counselor or somebody that can help you get through this imposter syndrome, because it can hinder your progress as you do this thing called life. I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can, or that can help you deal with imposter syndrome. The first thing is what I would say. I normally say that maybe make a list of the things that you have achieved or the things that you have done well at. My mentor calls it the brag sheet. So create a brag sheet for yourself. Now, what are you? Brag about the things that you have achieved. And when you put that brag sheet together, you would realize that you are not as bad as you put yourself out to do. I mean, you have achieved so much than you fail to give yourself credit for. So list the things you have done when it comes to the workspace, the family space, your life out there. Just make a list of the things that you have achieved, whether it's even intellectually, in terms of academia. List practically everything that you have done that is an achievement, and you would begin to realize that you actually don't give yourself credit enough. That is going to help you deal with imposter syndrome when it comes your way. So when people compliment you for things, you realize that you've written it on your brag sheet already. So it affirms what they are saying, and you become more receptive to it, other than being less receptive to it before. The second way that you can deal with your imposter syndrome is that you admit to yourself that you have that feeling. You know, when we are not true to ourselves, when we don't admit what is, it's difficult for us to find the solution to the things that we need to find solutions for. So admitting to the fact that, I actually feel undeserving some of the time or most of the time. It's something that happens to me and it's not the best. I think I need to work at it. Once you admit to the fact that you have this kind of feeling, it is a step towards being able to correct it. So admit to yourself that, yeah, I do feel this thing called imposter syndrome. Don't be too macho about it, because the truth is, everybody, presidents, people, you name it, that you are your role models, they also feel it. If you have a good mentor, they're going to tell you that they also feel imposter syndrome. If you fail to admit to it, if you're being macho about it, then you're not going to be able to find the solution to it. So remember that one of the ways that you can deal with your imposter syndrome is admitting that, I do this. I sometimes deflect when people are giving me compliments, when they are telling me how well I do things. I deflect it, and it's not good, because actually I have achieved these things that they are saying. And so I need to look at how I deal with it, maybe learn to be more receptive of the compliments that I get from people. So what are we going to do? We're going to admit to the fact that we all get this thing called imposter syndrome. The final way that I'm going to share with you about how to deal with imposter syndrome is actually in two dimensions. Now, separating feelings from facts. Now, I'm going to talk about this in two ways, because number one, separating feelings from facts, which is your own feelings from the fact or from the reality. Because sometimes the way we feel is not actually what the reality is, and we allow what we feel to dominate the reality. I don't know why we do that. Someone is saying, oh, you did so well with this event, it was beautiful, you did well. Oh, really? Oh, not really. And sometimes it's because maybe you expected to do more. The program or the event you did actually went very well, but because of your expectations of yourself and what you're feeling at the moment, you sort of deflect the compliment that you're being given for what you've done. And so you have to learn to actually separate your feelings from the fact, because the fact is that despite the hitches and everything that nobody saw, whatever you did was a big success. And so when you are being complimented, you need to take it all in. So separate your feelings, that is your own feelings, from the facts, that is the reality on the ground of what happened. You sit back and you watch and you realize that, well, despite everything behind the scenes and everything, this event came out beautifully. So learn to pat yourself on the back when it happens that way, so that other people can also give you that vibe, and then you'll be more receptive of it. Now, the other side of separating feelings from facts is separating other people's feelings from the fact. Because sometimes people can project their feelings onto you, and then you begin to second judge yourself. You begin to think that, yeah, I think they're right, I'm not really all that. But think about it. What is the fact? Are you not really all that you are? If you manage to do this, if you manage to achieve this, if you manage to put this grand event together with no glitches, you actually are deserving of it. But when you listen to people's own feelings or thinking about you, and you let it cloud the reality, you are going to allow imposter syndrome to take a seat in your life. Very, very, very important, because the words that people speak, which may not be true, can affect so much of what you do. And now, when I wanted to start doing this on YouTube or teaching people on YouTube, my personal imposter syndrome was like, what have I really achieved that I'm going to be able to share with people? Am I really, do I really have anything to show? And then I have my brag sheet. Of course I do. I've been in business for over 17 years. I have built a business that has made millions over year after year. I have employed people who I pay to feed their families as well. So in creating my brag sheet, I know that yes, I am deserving of this. But sometimes along the way, somebody else speaks the same thing that you probably thought about what you're doing and says, oh, Dedo is trying to do something on YouTube. What does she think she's doing? Who does she think she is? And if you internalize that, it begins to affect whatever you do. That's why it's important that you separate people's feelings and their thinking from the facts and the reality of the ground, so that imposter syndrome would not take a seat in your life. I hope that what we've learned today on imposter syndrome is going to help you as you build your business life and life in general. I look forward to us engaging again in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe now, and also share my page with your friends. Share this video with people that you know will be blessed by what I have been sharing. See you. Bye.